Y'all, I am checking off one of the goals on my vision board. I have found my dream apartment that I wanted to move into. And I'm excited because the way it happened was so unexpectedly. So this is just, I want to encourage you that whatever you have put on your vision board, continue to take actions because it'll come through. Sometimes it'll come through the way you thought it was going to come through, and then sometimes it come through so unexpectedly. For me, with my apartment, once I've decided, okay, I'm going to start looking for my dream apartment, figuring out the things I wanted, I started looking around in other places, and I ain't gonna lie, part of me started getting a little discouraged and stuff. Like I said, I know when you trying to manifest, you want to be cautious of being in that lack mindset, but you start to go out and you start looking at prices on things, and you're like, this for this amount of space, like, okay, it may be pretty, but it's not really functioning the way I needed to function for what I have going on in my life. So I just, I just kept on it. I just prayed about it. And I was like, okay, Lord, you know what I'm looking for. If it's in your will, I know you will bring it to me. And so I just, in the steps, I just continue to say, okay, well, I'm just going to continue to go look at apartments, see what I like, see what's going on. And then it's just so happened that in the current apartment complex that I'm in, they had another 1-bedroom apartment opening up, and it was a lot bigger. And it was actually the ones that I really like, where you, instead of carpet, it's the wood floors, and then instead of like your outside view being your neighbor, your outside, you actually have a view of like streets and trees and stuff. And it actually was like, oh, it's going to be available at the same time that my lease ends. So all I would have to do was just come out of a small little transfer fee versus finding a whole new apartment that had to, you have to put the deposit down the same as rent plus application fee and all these different things. And it came to true, and it was like, wow, this turned out to be a lot of an easier process than what I had made it out to be. And that's something that I feel like we go through when we're trying to manifest things. Sometimes we stress ourselves out with trying to make things happen instead of just taking some time back, thinking about what we want, focusing on just a little bit the action steps that we need to take. Like I said, this year is an all or something year. So if we can't do everything we want, we're going to do something, and so it's a matter of just doing the small steps. In the process, I've been decluttering because I'm like, okay, I know it's going to happen. So in the meantime, I'm just going to work now to declutter, so then that way when I do move, I don't have a lot to move. So that was some of the action steps that I was taking while I was waiting to come across my dream apartment. And it just so happened, I called and they said, hey, we have this apartment coming available, you want to go take a look at it? And so I'm like, well, okay, well, I'll see how it looks. I'm assuming it's gonna probably look the same as what I have. And then I walked in and it was like a totally different feel, a totally different vibe, and it was just like, yes, this is it. And I told him, I said, yes, this is the apartment that I want, so take it off so that way can't nobody rent it. So that way then we can set up the 6 times where I can actually transfer and move into my new apartment, and it only costs a small little transfer fee, which is definitely not like what other apartments were like, oh, you want their deposit is the same as the rent, and then plus you want the same amount of rent on the day you move in, so it would have been a little bit more pricey. So I am just truly grateful that I found something, and it's still in the area that I enjoy, in the location, and because the location works so well for me. And I was like, man, if I could just find something in this location, because the location is great, I just would like to get into an apartment that just gives me a different vibe. And the universe made a way to make it happen. And I honestly believe the universe made a way because I released control. I just said, you know what, let me focus on what I can do in preparation for this to occur. So I focused on decluttering. I focused on making sure I didn't bring anything else in because I'm going to be moving anyway. So in those preparations, and then I started to not stress off the price of things, because I'm like, well, I know the budget that I set for myself that I'm willing to pay for this. So when things happen, when I find a place that's within this budget, I'm already going to be ready for it to happen. And it has happened. So I'm so excited that in the next couple of months I will be moving into another place. So it's like one thing, you checking off that vision board. So that's why I said, when you look at that 6-month reset and you start to think of reevaluating the goals that you set in the beginning of the year, it's definitely not bad that once you get to the middle of the year, you say, you know what, this is not the goal that I really want to focus on. This is what I want to focus on. And starts to change up. And then sometimes you start to get a new enjoyment, a new set of some energy that how do I want to say this? You start to get that fire under you that makes you happy, and that makes you want to move forward and do things differently, versus when you look at something and it just seems like this is so far away. This is just not within my reach. I don't know how I'm going to accomplish this. And when you get goals like that, that's when you need to switch up and you reevaluate, because you don't want goals that you feel like is going to take forever for you to accomplish. Because goals do have those, like when you're trying to manifest things, they will have that, what we call that gestational period, where some goals is going to take a little bit longer to develop, and some goals won't take a little bit longer to develop. Like I'm working through my health, and so I'm okay with it being a longer or shorter gestational period. All I'm focusing on right now is just doing the actions that's going to help me. And so my actions is I'm eating a lot better than what I did. Like the start of this year, I was eating terrible, and then once I set that up on my mind, it was like, okay, I'm starting to eat a lot better, a lot more whole foods. And then in the process, I'm increasing new exercise plans. That's actually been helping me. So instead of, when you set your goals, you definitely just the next biggest step is just focusing on the action steps that are putting you in alignment with those goals. So this is just my encouragement to just keep looking at your vision board, keep evaluating, are these steps, the steps that I'm taking, is going to help me to accomplish this goal? And if they're not, just take a step back, realign, and get back on track, because it's right there and waiting for you. It's just waiting for you to develop the skills and the mindset that you need in order to accomplish this goals. So you got this. 2024 is not over yet, so it's still plenty of time to accomplish your goals. I definitely highly recommend that you watch my video on how to change your life in 6 months, where I talk about the 6-month reset, because regardless, you got this. Sometimes it just takes changing one little step, and then for the universe to open up the doors for you, because then you're ready. So I definitely highly encourage you to watch that video. Like I said, keep looking at that vision board, keep looking at your goals, keep taking aligned actions with your steps, and just watch the universe do what it do.